Hi there, this is episode 3 of season 2 of Adapt Plugins. Adapt Plugins is my YouTube series where I kind of look at open source extensions and components that are available to the Adapt learning community and how they could be used to make your course better and more engaging. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about Google Analytics. Google Analytics, as you probably know, is a tracking kind of analytical tool that can be used on websites and apps to track how learners access your course, where they come from, what they're doing. So it's really good to use it in your Adapt course to kind of track what your learners are doing. So when you think of tracking in e-learning context, it's normally to do with SCORM, and SCORM is very good for assessments and for ensuring compliance, like ensuring that everyone completes the course. However, as a format, it's quite limited and it's not great at kind of dealing with more data. There's only a limited amount of data that can be sent through SCORM. On the other side, you have XAPI, which is being used more and more across organizations, but it's quite hard to set up. You require like an LRS as well as a huge increase in development time in your e-learning to kind of get all the triggers set up that you need to ensure all the verbs are actually being sent correctly. So Google Analytics is a good kind of stopgap that could be used to get a bit more data from your e-learning, maybe track certain interactions without having to invest a huge amount of time to kind of get an LRS off the ground and to do all those other steps that are required. I think it's very powerful for kind of if you have a new extension or component that you're hoping to roll out into your e-learning suite, then Google Analytics could be used to kind of track how well that interaction is being used by your learners, so that you can kind of see if it resonates with them, or if they find it too complex, maybe you need to add some instructional text or something. This kind of data gathering can be really useful for kind of making those decisions across your organization. So I'm going to jump into my Adapt course. So as you see here, we have a pretty standard Adapt course. But as you see, that every time I press something, it's I have the debug mode on, so your learners won't actually see this, but you can kind of see what's being done and the event that's being fired. And if I open up my Google Analytics, you can see that there's some events that are being triggered every single time I do something. So see, I keep on scrolling down the page and I get to a video component. I can play this and watch it. When I'm done, I pause and it tells me like how far I am into the video, which is very useful for seeing fall off rates and that kind of stuff to make sure that learners are engaged and you can make future improvements to your courses to make sure that they're actually kind of helping people. And it's important to notice that this doesn't need to be done by the organization who are using the e-learning. For example, if you were like an agency who was selling e-learning to a client, you could add Google Analytics to the course that you're selling to your client, assuming you have permission from the client, of course. And then this could be used to gather more feedback on a wider scale to kind of help drive the direction of your e-learning content in the future. So the plugin in question is created by Kineo, and there are a few different companies that have created Google Analytics plugins, but I found this one to be the most up to date and also the most feature rich. So the README will tell you exactly what they track when you first install this plugin. So for example, the media play, some percentage viewed, different extensions and stuff which are being used. And you can also add your own tracking events by just adding this single line of single function, which will add new stuff. So again, if you're rolling out a new extension that maybe you created in-house or something like that, then you could just add Google Analytics tracking to it, and you very easily have the ability to kind of see exactly what people are doing and what devices they're on and that kind of stuff, which there's a lot of potential there for really kind of gathering information and making smarter decisions in the future. I hope this is useful, and I'll include the link of where you can download this plugin in the YouTube description. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.